All I urge that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for everyone, for kings and all those who are in authority, so that we may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and dignity, and that this is good and it pleases God our Savior. So, Lord, I pray for this body of leaders and officials who have been given various capacities as government officials to serve the residents of Madison County. And as they listen to reports and review resolutions and make proclamations and receive comments from different departments and from different people here today, I pray that you will supply the ability to serve with wisdom and integrity. Lord, I thank you for every individual here who's accepted the responsibility of leading our great county, and I ask that they will receive the ability to govern and lead people well that only comes from your hand. And I pray that this chamber of officials will continue to appeal to you for the ability to steward the resources and the respect of the people they lead, that Madison County may be a safe and a prosperous place to live and grow. And we welcome your presence in this room. In the name of Jesus, I pray.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Tim. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Everyone, please stand, face our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thanks again, Tim. Members of the court, you all have had a chance to look over the previous meeting minutes. That was our March 26, 2024 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Buchan?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Our treasurer's report will be at our next fiscal court meeting. It's always on the fourth Tuesday meeting. First order of business today is a proclamation recognizing Fair Housing Month. Whereas the Federal Fair Housing Act, enacted on April 11th, 1968, and the Federal Fair Housing Act amendments of 1988 prohibit discriminatory housing practices. And whereas fair housing means persons may freely choose a place to live without regard to race, color, national origin, religion, sex, including gender identity and sexual orientation, disability, or familial status. And whereas fair housing laws apply to persons viewing or renting an apartment, viewing or purchasing a home, applying for and securing a home loan, or purchasing homeowners or renters insurance. And whereas community education and outreach are key to raising awareness of fair housing principles, rights, practices, and responsibilities for all Madison Countyans. Now therefore, I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive in the Madison County Fiscal Court, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 as Fair Housing Month. And today we have with us Jerry. Jerry, you want to come up from FAHI? Jerry Dyer is the Director of Projects. Is that right, Jerry? Do you want to say a few words, and then I'll present you with the proclamation here, and we'll take a picture, if that's okay?
Sure, that'd be great.
Yep.
I'm happy to be here representing FAHI. FAHI is an affordable housing agency. That's what we kind of started out as, but we have grown beyond that. We are thrilled to be partners with Madison County and to continue to see the growth of fair housing, the growth of our county as a result of individuals being able to have safe, decent, and affordable housing. So thank you, Judge. Thank you, Fiscal Court.
See, we'll go over that over there.
All right.
All right, our next proclamation is a joint proclamation between, I love our joint proclamations, by the way, between City of Richmond, City of Berea, and Madison County Fiscal Court. This one is recognizing and proclaiming Child Abuse Prevent Child Abuse Month. National Child Abuse Prevention Month will be recognized throughout the United States as well as in the Commonwealth of Kentucky during the month of April. Whereas children are vital to our state's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, as well as being our most vulnerable asset. And whereas all children deserve to have safe, stable, nurturing homes and communities to foster their healthy growth and development. And whereas child abuse and neglect are a community's responsibility, affecting both the current and future quality of life of a community. And whereas communities that provide parents with the support and resources to ensure all children grow to their full potential, and whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships created among all citizens. Now therefore we, Madison County Judge Executive Reagan Taylor, Richmond Mayor Robert Blythe, Berea Mayor Bruce Fraley, do hereby jointly proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Madison County, Kentucky, and call upon all citizens to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live. And today we have Victoria Benz, my friend from CASA. Victoria, if you want to come up and say a few words. And you're used to being in front of a microphone, aren't you?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. This means a lot. April's a big month for us. I am with CASA of Madison and Clark counties, and we advocate on behalf of children who are abused or neglected in the family court system. And so April, we're just trying to raise awareness of what's happening in our community. And so last year there was 263 children in Madison County that were abused or neglected. And so I want everybody to think about that, right? These are kids that go to schools, they live in our neighborhoods, they are in our community, and they just need people to stand up and advocate for them, and just for us to raise awareness that this is happening and should try to prevent it. So thank you for having me.
And Victoria, do those numbers come out of our court system, those 263? That's
Yeah.
how you know. And how many, if you had enough volunteers, would that number be greater?
Yeah. And right now we're only serving about 20% of the kids that need us because we don't have enough volunteers. So we always need volunteers. It is not hard, I promise. It's 5 to 10 hours a month, and you really just build a relationship with these kids and advocate for them in the courtroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Exercise today.
You get some steps in.
Yeah, steps in. I'll get my steps in. All right, last but certainly not least, we have a proclamation that is recognizing National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Madison County 911 Emergency Communication Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of Madison County 911 have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And now therefore we, Madison County Judge Executive Reagan Taylor, Richmond Mayor Robert Blythe, and Berea Mayor Bruce Fraley, do hereby jointly proclaim the week of April 14th through the 20th, 2024 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Berea, Richmond, and Madison County, Kentucky, and encourage all citizens to honor the men and women whose diligency and professionalism keep our community safe. So, I'm gonna give you all a round of applause. Yeah. Come on up. Come on up, Wendy. Everybody knows Wendy. If you want to say a few words, and then we'll get everybody up to take a picture. Even our Chief Sandlin, Chief Hayes, they're board members. So
Yes, I have some board members with me today. The sheriff's here also, and Chief Gray with County Fire. Just goes to show the great support. We're very fortunate to be a consolidated center and have so much input. And this is just a week to next week start. It's always the second full week of April, so it's kind of threw us off with everything starting actually the third week on the calendar of April. But they're a great staff. They're the heroes behind the headset. I encourage anything you want to know about 911 or the community to follow our Facebook page. We put a lot of information on there, and we've just kind of taken the national approach this year. You can adopt a dispatcher, so we have that going on, and we have a couple that we still need adopted out, and you can just give them an appreciation with some cards and some different things. So we have a fun week next week planned for them. In between taking calls and doing what they do 12 hours to 16 hours at a time, they're just a great staff, and we appreciate you all recognizing them.
Yeah, appreciate you. Come on up, team. All right. Good stuff right there. All right, next on our agenda is our first reading of ordinance 2024-03. This is a land use change at 1072 Tates Creek Road from R7 to U7 agriculture from R7 and UC7 agriculture to UC1 single family residential. Bert, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. This is the first reading, like the judge said. Excuse me, an ordinance of the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, approving the zone change of 1072 Tates Creek Road, Richmond, Kentucky, and there's a parcel ID number there, and authorizing the amendment of the official zoning map of Madison County, Kentucky. Whereas the hereinafter described land is located in Madison County, Kentucky, and whereas the Madison County Planning Commission held a public hearing on Tuesday, March 19, 2024, to consider a land use change request application from R7 and UC7 agriculture to UC1 single-family residential. Upon presentation by the applicant and public comment and testimony, findings of fact were made by the Planning Commission as described in their summary of evidence, findings of fact and recommendation to the Fiscal Court attached hereto and made a part hereof for all purposes, and as follows. Number one, the map amendment request and proposed use is in accordance with the land use and development goal to actively support planning and land use management set forth in the comprehensive plan because it fosters the following objectives and statements set forth in the plan. Number one, the proposed development is located between two existing single-family developments, minimizing potential land use conflicts. That's the plan at page 11, land use and development objective number 4. Number two, that the proposed development fosters the plan's call for infill development near existing developed areas, as the majority of the property is located within the urban corridor next to two existing single-family developments. And that's the plan at page 11, land use and development objectives number 5 and 6. Number three, that the proposed development is compatible with adjoining uses in terms of both intensity of use and density. That's the plan at page 20. And number four, that the future land use map designates this property for the development of single-family homes as is proposed by the map amendment request. And that's the plan at page 19. Number two, the map amendment request and proposed use is in accordance with the housing goal of providing a range of housing opportunities, including affordable housing options set forth in the comprehensive plan, because it fosters the following objectives and statements set forth in the plan. Number one, that the proposed development provides housing in an area with existing infrastructure, including water, electric, garbage, and adequate transportation via direct access to Tates Creek Road and within 4 miles of I-75. That's the plan at page 13, housing number 2. Number 2, the proposed development is located in an area in high demand for housing, and the development will help to meet the housing needs of the community. The plan at page 13, housing number 3. And then number 3, the proposed development is within the urban corridor where future single-family development is anticipated by the plan. The plan at page 61, housing. Whereas the Madison County Planning Commission, upon hearing testimony, made a motion with unanimous consent to recommend to the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve the land use change request from R7 and UC7 to UC1, and to move the boundary of the urban corridor to the property line of the subject to avoid the property having more than one zoning classification. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has reviewed said findings and recommendation of the Madison County Planning Commission, and being otherwise sufficiently advised, and does hereby adopt the findings of fact made thereby. Now therefore be it ordained and enacted by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the land use classification of the following described property be changed by this ordinance from R7 and UC7 to UC1 classification. Section 1 is the legal description of the property. Section 2, that the urban corridor boundary is relocated to the northern boundary of the real property described herein. Section 3, that the Madison County GIS coordinator make the appropriate changes to the official zoning map of Madison County, Kentucky. Section 4, the county clerk cause this ordinance to be published in accordance with the Kentucky Revised Statutes. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption. Phew. Who wrote that ordinance?
That's what I want.
All right, members of the
Y'all should
court.
have- I'm sorry.
Members of the court, y'all have heard first reading of ordinance 2024-03. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-03, Judge.
So I have a motion and a second. Now we open it up for discussion. Bert, do you have anything you want to
I
add?
just want to make sure y'all got your map. Y'all know where the property is off Tates Creek. It's between Fraybrook and Tates Creek Estates, on Tates Creek Road. Unanimous recommendation from the Planning Commission. No one at the meeting had some people with some questions about water runoff and septic sewer issues and how those would be addressed by the Planning Commission at the site development stage, but no one objected to the change itself.
Yep. Okay. All right. Members of the court, any questions? So this is a first reading. So we'll vote in just a second. But before we do that, I want to, for any citizen that would like to make public comment, please feel free to email the comments to comments@madisoncountyky.gov. A copy of this ordinance will be available on our website at www.madisoncountyky.gov under the Transparency/Public Notices tab. Or you could contact my office. Again, this is a first reading. Our second reading will be at our next fiscal court meeting in Richmond, which will be advertised appropriately by KRS. And that's where we'll hold the public hearing, public testimony at the second reading. So if no further comments by any of the magistrates, have any questions, concerns, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Bert. Next, Resolution 2024-28. This is MWM Consulting LLC Economic Development Services Agreement. Jill, good morning.
Good morning. This is a resolution to approve a professional services agreement between Madison County Fiscal Court and MWM Consulting LLC. Whereas Madison County Fiscal Court, the county, wishes to enter into a professional services agreement with MWM Consulting. And whereas economic development and the creation of jobs is a priority for Madison County. And whereas the county has been pleased with the economic development representation and consulting services of MWM Consulting and has provided and wishes to enter into this agreement that will lay a solid foundation for strategic and long-term economic growth. And now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and or his designee to negotiate and execute the contracts on behalf of the county.
All right, you all have heard Resolution 2024-28. What's the pleasure of the court, please?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-28. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What was the cost last year for this?
I believe it was $3,500 a month.
And it's up to 5,500. That, I was thinking, and let me ask you this: this joint interlocal agreement that we got with Richmond, Berea, Fayette, Scott County, did they have anything to do with that?
Does this have anything to do with that?
Did they have anything to do with that joint interlocal agreement?
They, meaning MWM?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of leading
Facility.
on our behalf, sort of facilitating, marketing.
So they were very involved in this joint interlocal agreement.
Very much so. But now Scott County's different. You know, MWM represents Madison County Fiscal Court.
Yeah.
They represent the city of Berea. Scott County has Scott County Unite.
Yeah.
That is that kind of represents their group. Jack is on there representing them. Lucas is on there representing us as Berea and Madison County Fiscal Court.
But that joint interlocal agreement that we've all signed, they were a part of that, or not?
In helping facilitate?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. They lead. It's their Zoom link every Friday when we all meet and discuss, or what we're doing.
Can you give an update on that situation?
Not right now,
Okay.
but I'm really hoping that I can give a great update here really soon.
Okay.
But there's things with funding and through government that things have to be a little confidential until you've
Okay.
got
I
you
mean,
got your grant and you got your funding and it's all ready to be announced.
I just tell you, I thought that the price went up quite a bit, and I hadn't seen much out of those guys. I just tell you, I mean, I am not seeing much out of them, and we got that report last year, this study, and it was pretty soft, really. There wasn't much. And so I hadn't just seen a lot, and then I see the price going up, so that's a big concern to me.
So what would you all like to see in the future? I mean, you don't do this 8 hours a day,
Right?
so that's what I'm tasked with. And so if you all want to have updates from these folks because you want to see more out of them, then you all just have to tell me.
Yeah.
I feel like that they're unbelievably deserving of this, and they do a lot more work, and which is why the price went up, is because I want to be up front with you all on what the cost is, and they've started doing a lot more than what last year's agreement was because of where we're going, the direction we're moving in. Fiscal courts, even before this group, tasked me with diving into economic development and trying to grow our revenues. And so when I look at this, we could hire an economic development person as an employee, but it would cost us a lot more than a $66,000 a year consulting contract that basically takes in everything. The marketing, creating the marketing information. And so I think it's money well spent. But what I don't want is I don't want you all coming in here grandstanding and making it out like that I'm not doing my job during the day when I'm in this full time. And then you come in and insinuate like you haven't seen anything out of them.
Well, I haven't.
Well, have you asked?
Well, no, I haven't.
Okay. So you come in here today grandstanding.
I'm
over
not
it.
grandstanding,
Yeah.
and I'm not opposed to this right here. But I want to support you on this. But I want to kind of just say, hey, I want to see a little bit more evidence of what they're doing. And
I mean, I've updated you all on the whole partnership with 3 other communities. I mean, you all know about that stuff,
yeah,
right? I mean, do you think the amount of money that we're talking about there and getting, that this group that we're doing is not doing an extremely good job?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But anyway,
yeah.
I'm
I don't
just
think
voicing those
if we're not
concerns.
doing a good job, I don't think that we got a chance of getting that kind of money and that kind of funding. So that's my comments. Anybody else
Yeah, I just want to say that
like to make positive comments?
I'm not going to make my comments.
All right.
And then
that's
I'll
good.
let you determine whether they're positive or not. I think that I've only been on here a year, and I think that from what I started looking at when I decided to run for this position, I know there was stuff behind the scenes as far as economic development, but it didn't have near the effort, commitment, and support behind it that we have today, with your leadership with what's going on. And so I think that this will be a very small investment, Billy Ray, once we know more. And I don't know anything more than you do. And that's so, and I've been around enough in economic development and other things that even though this $2,000 raise seems like a lot, it's not much in this world. So I only say that so that we can all feel comfortable with this, because I'm very excited and pumped about where Madison County has the potential to go. And I'm also pumped about the fact that we can have a part of that, because I feel like Madison County has a lot of potential. And I feel like Judge is taking us towards that potential where previous people didn't want anything to change in this county. Well, we've got to move forward.
I don't know, Judge, if it would be appropriate, depending on the confidentiality that might be involved, to have them once a quarter to give the court an update. I know generally speaking, for me anyway, when I don't know about it, I come in and ask you about it. But if we need something more formal.
I'd be glad to do that as y'all request. I think y'all just need to understand that a lot of things with economic development are very confidential.
Right.
And there's NDAs that are signed in a lot of situations. And when there's funding involved at other levels of government, you can't really talk about it, right, until it's time to talk about it.
Right.
And so, you know,
Well, I understand.
the MWM Consulting has helped us on numerous things, which is what they're contracted to do when it comes to running financial models of potential new industry that are coming. What's this mean for us financially? I mean, we're working with their team, and you're not just getting one person. I mean, you're getting a whole team of people,
Right.
that are helping us in making sure that the direction we're going in is the right direction and it makes sense financially. So
I'm comfortable with this. I know in the past, in several years in the previous courts, we've had discussions of hiring, like you said, an economic development person for $140,000, $50,000, $60,000. So, looking at this, that's a bargain. And plus, really, that one of the things that we were really trying to get away from to some degree was compartmental, having somebody that just did specifically for Madison County, where Brea had a developer, Richmond had a developer, trying to do more market to county as a whole instead of all these segments. And so,
yeah, I went to them. I initiated this, getting a new contract. Now that we were with them for the first, I guess, year, a little over a year now, I see what they're capable of. And I didn't want to be coming back and forth every time I wanted them to do something and have to get it approved by the court. So I went to them and said, hey, give me a price on I want you to do it all. I want you to do my marketing. I want you to do my financial analysis. Give me a price on you doing it all so I don't have to be coming back and forth to the fiscal court all the time, right? We're in this business. And if y'all don't want to be in this business, then you need to tell me now and we'll back up. But if we want to be in the economic development business, and that's what y'all charged me to do, I'm all in. And so I went to them and just said, hey, I want a price that encompasses it all. And so that's what they gave me.
we've preached about it for 9 years, so it's time we're moving forward with it in a positive direction.
Yep. And I'm very impressed, extremely impressed with their knowledge, with their professionalism. Their time turnaround, and I'm sorry that you all don't get to see that on a daily basis. But you're all more than welcome to come up and participate. Obviously, if y'all want to sit in on a Friday Zoom call, now you can't have a quorum, right? But every now and then, if one of y'all want to sit in on that group call,
Is that every Friday?
every Friday.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah.
I appreciate that opportunity. Yeah.
My door's always been open every day. You come up there, it's open to you.
Well,
You know, so You know, I don't keep anything from you all. So, anything else? Any other questions? We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-28. If there's no further discussion, call the roll.
Master Lockmiller,
Yes.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Jill. Next, Resolution 24-29, Bluegrass Chemical Activity, Bluegrass Army Depot, MOU. Chief, good morning.
Morning. A resolution approving signature of the updated memorandum of understanding MOU between Bluegrass Chemical Activity, BGCA, Bluegrass Army Depot, BGAD, Assembled Chemical Weapons Alternatives, ACWA, in Madison County, Kentucky. Whereas the Madison County Emergency Management Agency, EMA, participates in the Chemical Stockpile Preparedness Program, CSEP. And whereas Madison County EMA CSEP works closely with the Bluegrass Army Depot and the Bluegrass Chemical Activity to provide alert and warning to persons on and around BGAD if a chemical incident or emergency has occurred. And whereas the Madison County EMA CSEP wishes to enter into the attached MOU with the above-mentioned entities, which addresses the need for rapid notification in the event of a chemical incident or mishap and passing of protective action information. Now therefore it be resolved, the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into this agreement and authorize the judge executive and or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Motion approved resolution 2024-29, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-29. Any questions?
I know this speaks specifically to chemical activity with BGCA, but on the Bluegrass Army, on the Baghdad part of it, do we have other agreements with them as far as when they do their destruction and stuff like that for emergencies or anything like that?
We do with their fire department. We do through our fire department and their fire department. We have, in case they need any assistance or we need to assistance offside the base. And I think everything else is entailed into that, and along with this one is their.
That's
they
just
need
a
any
question I
assistance.
had. I know this one was specific to chemicals. I just wondered about all the
Yeah,
other.
this one's mainly from their EOC to our EOC, that in case something happens, they have to notify us, and we have to put that alert and warning out and what we do. And it changed a little bit from what it was, since now that they're in the stage that they're in there now, so they changed some wordings and things in that to make it more accurate.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none. We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-29. Call the roll.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Lockmiller.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2024-30. This is a CSEP grant MOA contract extensions.
A resolution approving the extensions for the CSEP Memorandum of Agreement MOA grant funds for Madison County Fiscal Court. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to extend the CSEP MOA grant funding contracts, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has received the contract extensions from Kentucky Emergency Management, which are currently set to expire on March 31st, 2024, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to extend each of the following MOAs for CSEP grant funding: A, fiscal year 18 FAIN number EMA-2018-CA-5820. B, fiscal year 19 FAIN EMA 2019 CA 5820. C is fiscal year 21 FAIN EMA 2021 CA 5820. D is fiscal year 22 FAIN EMA 2022 CA 5820. Whereas the extensions will run through June the 30th, 2024 to provide additional time to complete projects within our community that are funded through these grant years. Now therefore it be resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into these contracts and authorize the judge executive and or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2024-30. What's the pleasure of the court, please?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
So this is the one, Chief, where I was referring to about the AMK. This lumps in that AMK contract.
Yes, that's the reason most of these are still there, that AMK is tied through those years
Right.
for the
Thank you.
radio project update or upgrade.
Any other questions? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Bucket?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, appreciate it. Resolution 2024-31, Commonwealth of Kentucky lease agreement for Unified
Yeah, that's a good word.
prosecutorial, sorry,
I've practiced it.
prosecutorial system. Brooke, I probably should let you read that agenda item there. You wouldn't have butchered that word. Jill?
This is a resolution to approve a lease agreement renewal between the Commonwealth of Kentucky and Madison County Fiscal Court for the Unified Prosecutorial System, also known as the Commonwealth Attorney. Whereas Madison County Fiscal Court agrees to lease office space to the Commonwealth of Kentucky for the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and whereas the annual base rental rent shall increase to $16 per square foot for 2,292 square feet of office space located at 101 North First Street in Richmond, Kentucky. And whereas the term for lease agreement PR 05094 shall become effective July 1st, 2024 and continue through June 30th, 2025, which includes an automatic renewal option to extend the lease term an additional 12 months, not to extend beyond June 30th, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
Motion approved resolution 2024-31, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bucket?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, resolution 2024-32. This is purchase EMA CSEP specialty trailer. Chief.
A resolution approving the purchase of a specialty trailer from Madison County Emergency Management Agency, EMA, and Chemical Stockpile Emergency Preparedness Program, CSEP. Whereas the specialty trailer would allow operation and emergency response to continue at an off-site location during the emergency situation. And whereas Madison County EMA CSEP wishes to enter into a contract with JHB Group for the purchase of a specialty trailer as planned and budgeted through the federal CSEP. Now therefore it be resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution, authorize the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you. Resolution 2024-32. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second? Any discussion?
Chief, how are you currently performing the functions that are listed in this?
We don't.
It's a good reason to have a trailer.
Yep.
Which there's some backstory to that too, just being efficient. And what county was originally previously proposed.
Yeah, we
was
originally proposed to purchase a mobile command unit, and after digging in and checking on some things, it costs a yearly salary of about $50,000 just to upkeep that equipment, to have it ready to respond. And we did some search and researched and talked to other areas, and we decided to go with this route because we think the upkeep and the longevity of it would be much more feasible and economical for our county.
And talk a little bit about this trailer, maybe just from a 911 standpoint.
Yeah, it'll have two consoles in it, so if something happens that Wendy needs to, her people need to dispatch, we can dispatch from wherever in the county that they need to. They'll have two consoles, they can see the same thing, do the same thing that they can in the 911 center. They'll be able to do it from that trailer at any location. It'll also be able, I think, Chris, we've worked with him on that, and we'll be able to print maps, anything like that we need from that location in case we have a missing persons.
Search and rescue.
Major wildfire, anything that we can print all that right there on scene.
Good.
Yep. Thank you, Chief. Any other questions? Hearing none. We do have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bucket?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Appreciate you, Chief. Thank you. Next, employee spotlight. Ryan.
Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Today's employee spotlight is
Hey,
Ricky.
Ryan, before you do the spotlight, I don't want to take away from the spotlight.
Yes, sir.
So would you want to introduce our newest?
Maggie, if you'd like to come on up here.
Yeah.
This is Maggie Ratliff.
She don't have to say anything. I just want the fiscal court members to see our new director of animal control. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
She came to court today, so we just want to recognize her. Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you, but you got to be ready. You always got to be prepared. Yeah. Ryan, now go ahead. I don't want to
Okay.
take away from Ricky, but I want to do that.
Yes, sir. Today our employee spotlight is Ricky Foster. He's a road department mechanic. And what was said about Ricky is Ricky always goes above and beyond while dealing with the service and maintenance of county vehicles. Ricky has made many friends throughout the county and assures each county vehicle is safe and well maintained as if they were his own. So, shout out to Ricky today.
Yeah. Ricky's a great person. I'm glad to have him.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So, all right, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Next is Judge's Report. I do have a few announcements. See, Tasty Tuesdays are back at Irving McDowell Park every Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. through September. So that starts now through September, from 5 to 8 at Irving McDowell Park. Visit Richmond Parks and Recreation Facebook page for more information. Don't forget the Madison County Animal Shelter's 2024 Spring Vendor and Adoption Event. That will be this coming Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Richmond Mall. They will have live music, food trucks, local businesses, and same-day adoptions. Is that inside or outside? Outside? So it's outside. All right. So obviously you'll see our big trailer there then. So you'll know where it's at. Whitehall Park Lake will be stocked with 1,200 catfish on Thursday, April the 18th. Churchill's Spring Artisan Market will be on Saturday, April the 20th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 100 Churchill Court in Berea. And then I want to have a little conversation about an article that was in the Richmond Register addressing animal control. And I hope you all know this. I hope the community knows this, is that I'm big on the facts and big on transparency. And I don't like a heading or a title of something to give off a false message. And so, again, being transparent, always communicating with you all, I felt like that we needed to have a conversation today about this article that was in the Richmond Register that was written by journalists at the Richmond Register, that the heading was "Current Animal Control Leaves RPD in Difficult Situations." And as bad as I hate to say it, but a lot of media outlets today is about clicks, right? And you got to get a catchy title, and that can a lot of times paint a false message to our citizenry that we really work very hard at trying to get engaged in government. We want them to watch our fiscal court meetings. We want them to participate in our comprehensive plans. We want them to know the responsibilities of county government, what we're supposed to do and what we're not, what we're supposed to provide, what we're not. And this article, kind of gives a false message. And so I asked Jill to prepare a few things today that talks about timelines, that talks about years of conversations about, trying to work together and being more efficient with tax dollars and working with our other brothers and sisters in government, right? City of Richmond, City of Berea, outside agencies. And so I just asked Jill for the record to give the facts so that if somebody reads this article, then they have another place to go to kind of get the facts, or they can obviously always call our office. So Jill, you want to kind of just go over a little bit of a timeline of how far back that, partnership, animal control in Madison County has been going, and what's transpired and what hasn't?
Yeah, I'm happy to. This is not a new topic, and most everybody in this room has heard this topic a number of times. And I know, Billy Ray, you talk about being on the court previously. Well, this predates your time. It goes back as far as 1976. that Madison County, the city of Richmond, and the city of Berea had a joint ordinance to adopt, establishing essentially what at that time would have been considered an interlocal agreement for animal control services. And you think about that, 1976, that's been a while. I wasn't born then. Judge Taylor wasn't born then. And so that
I was almost born.
So that's how far working together and trying to be partners, this goes back. Not a lot happened for a great number of years, and then in April of 2017, Madison County actually requested payment from both of those governments as part of that ordinance that had been adopted, that was on the books. And that kind of generated some new conversation. In the spring of 2018, Madison County met with both cities and requested payment to be added to those budgets, really to comply with that ordinance that was in place. In February of 2019, Madison County invoiced the payment for those amounts allocated in the budget for animal control to the city of Richmond and the city of Berea, and proposed a budget planning and provided a copy of the budget for animal control and the shelter, which is what the ordinance is married to, and it's a percentage of that budget is how the ordinance was written. And so in June of 2019, after all these conversations and lots of conversations along the way, no payment had been submitted, and there was actually an interlocal government meeting that occurred on June 13th of 2019. And it was hosted, and the one agenda item was animal control and animal care services. And so out of that, there was a work session that was actually held in addition with the city of Berea. The city of Berea followed, and we adopted an interlocal agreement with the city of Berea in August of 2019 for them to pay $30,000 for animal control services that would be provided by the county. The city of Richmond also had an agreement at that time for animal control services, and they paid $75,000 on June the 27th of 2019. In 2020, the city of Richmond rescinded that agreement and rescinded that ordinance that they had passed and decided to do animal control on their own. Since that time, we've had dozens of conversations and made every effort to continue to create partnerships with both cities and provide that service that our citizens need, the citizens that our citizens expect. Unfortunately, we have a great partnership with the city of Berea and no issues, and the article didn't reference the city of Berea in any way. We send reports to the city of Berea on everything from animal intakes to calls made into the city limits of Berea. But Richmond's leadership at the time made a decision that and we must respect that decision, that they did not want our animal control services in the city of Richmond. And so I think in reference to the article that Judge Taylor mentioned, that was a choice of the leadership of Richmond and how that relationship works with RPD. It has not been a choice of the county. It has not been a choice of our animal control officer, who does an outstanding job. If you all will remember, he was the employee spotlight just 2 weeks ago. And so I can't say enough good things about him, but I think that's where a lot of confusion comes within our community, is at the end of the day, these things can be frustrating for city citizens and residents, and for city employees who are often put in this situation, but that has not been a decision of the county. The county in no way wants to put an RPD officer in a difficult situation, as was referenced. We don't even want to put Casey Botkin, who is not an RPD officer, but was referenced in the article, in a difficult situation. So I think that that's what we want citizens to know and understand is, we're going to do our part and try to work alongside our partners in whatever way we can. But we can't make decisions for all the other entities, as you all well know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important.
Well, there's kind of two things here, well, there's one thing here, is animal control and animal shelter are two kind of different things. But to the viewer, to our citizenry, it's always been one, right? We've always had one of those. But the city of Richmond chose to do animal control on their own. So, their issues that RPD is having has no reflection on our animal control staff, right? We're following the law. Law is spelled out. And so, I'm protective of our employees. I think, it's unfair to them to kind of get a black eye when they don't need to, and it has nothing to do with them. They're outstanding. They go above and beyond. But the authorities of the city of Richmond chose not to use Madison County for animal control. Plain and simple.
It was their decision.
Yep. So, anything else? Any questions about that?
I don't know if that's a good question. Are we supposed to direct, when I get those calls from people that live in the city of Richmond, who are they supposed to call? Police department? RPD?
Mm-hmm.
Mayor's office?
Yeah, I guess.
Council members? Who's supposed to call?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
For animal control? I've called them before and not got any response at all. I live in the city. So I don't know, but you've got to call the police department, I think. But it's not a 911 call though.
I think it's a combination between codes and planning and RPD. And often our 911 does get caught in the middle of that too. But I think based on, again, the article and the interviews that have transpired over the last few weeks, it is animal control for the city of Richmond is a function of the codes enforcement department. And so I know that often.
Let me ask
involves
Jill a
RPD.
question, because I haven't read the article, so I know there's other people probably watching this court meeting that haven't read the article. But I know from back years ago when this first got into this, everybody was kind of shocked when that ordinance popped up, that they were supposed to be paying for this for decades and paid nothing. But explain to the average citizen what it means when animal control interferes with RPD or Madison County Ambulance showing up at a home. Explain what that means, because it surprised me at the time too. I mean, how an animal
dog
could
interfere with the
that.
care. Yeah, it's just as you would think. If you get a call, if Major Terry or the sheriff's department gets a call out in the county and there are an animal present that may be interfering with the investigation or with an EMS call that somebody's on thing, it's just like at your home. An animal can interfere with the delivery of care, with the crime, any of those sorts of things. If it happens out in the county or in the city of Berea, the sheriff's office, let's say, would ask for animal control to come alongside them, to show up at the scene, and then our animal control officer would take care of the animal part of that scene. And so if you're on the opposite side of that, and you don't have that resource, then you have law enforcement officers who may be providing law enforcement, but they're also having to worry about the animal control portion. And so I think that is why those ordinances exist, is so that everyone can deliver the service to their expertise and to do what they want to focus on. And I think that is probably where a lot of the frustration historically came, is that I can't speak for law enforcement, but if you're trying to apprehend someone and you've got a animal, I think that could probably be more difficult than if there weren't an animal and somebody to focus on that animal.
Right, I just wanted to make sure that it's not just that somebody's not coming to pick up a stray dog on 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon.
No, I mean, there could be accidents.
There's something serious going on.
Yeah.
And EMS or law enforcement or someone needs assistance with that.
Yeah.
It's more serious than
there
what
could be
I imagined it in the beginning.
Could be a wreck on the interstate, right? And somebody has to get transported to the hospital, and they had their animal with them. Right. I mean, there's many situations that come up where, law enforcement or anybody might need animal control. But at the end of the day, the current animal control leaves RPD in difficult situations. That's referring to Richmond City's current animal control.
Correct.
Which I don't think exists, right? Because they don't think they really have anybody that's in that position.
Well, they have a new truck. If anyone wants to drive by it, it's on the corner of Irvin and 3rd in that parking lot right behind City Hall. Big, nice, brand new Chevrolet truck.
But that's not. I want people to know that this title is not a reflection of our animal control services that we provide to Berea or out in the county. Richmond chose not to.
They chose to provide their own service.
They
which is
yeah.
okay.
It's fine. Yeah, it's no issue. Yep. No issue whatsoever. Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate that update. Hearing none, we'll move on to magistrate comments. Steve.
Yes, sir. Only one comment, and that is, had several situations over the last couple of weeks with some of the moisture, let's call it, that we've been receiving in Kentucky during the springtime, and had some roads that needed some attention, and I just wanted to give kudos to the road department. They got out there and got it done quickly and efficiently, and I've had several positive comments back from constituents, so I wanted to thank the road department.
Appreciate it, Steve. Billy Ray.
Yeah, I brought this up a time or two before, but I wanted to get with Bert again. On our street widths and our subdivision requirements, you know, most of it's 20 foot between curbs, but most of our developments are 1 acre lots, so that's not a problem. But we've got, out in my area, we've got several of these small with sewer, you know, 1/4 acre lots, and the houses are very close together, and I know they're not supposed to park on the blacktop, but they do, and they're just very narrow streets. I was wondering if you could verify with the city of Richmond in their subdivision regulations, what is the minimum street width in those, because it is a different situation when you got small lots. But I just wanted to bring that up and see if we could just double check, and I'd appreciate that. And that's all I got.
Thanks, Billy Ray. Tom?
I don't really have anything this time, Judge, other than to say we thank the 911 folks who came today. It's nice to see you all, see your faces, and we appreciate everything that you all do for us. I stopped by the state garage here a week or so ago and talked to Brandon a little bit about some of the things, the places where we needed some attention. One of the places where it's getting worse and worse and worse is over at the Buc-ee's exit there. The approaches, aprons for those bridges are getting really, really bad, and same thing over at Barnes Mill. So, you know, hopefully the state will put some attention to those before too long. Summer's coming, they get their blacktops, so let's hope they address those issues before too long. And I just want to throw this out so that at least the citizens will know about this, but I've talked to the sheriff's department many times, and even within the last couple of weeks, even though it's not their direct responsibility, about the semi-trucks parking on the Buc-ee's exit. I'm telling you, it's dangerous as a loaded gun. 2 weeks ago at court, I came into Richmond, there was 5 semi-trucks parked on the north side on the Buc-ee's exit. And I mean, it wasn't that long ago where we had an individual who ran up under the back end of one of those semi-trucks, and it is clearly, there's got to be at least 5 signs for no parking, plus the no parking poles, and they just drive right over top of them and knock them down. And so, Sheriff, I appreciate you guys sending your people out there to ask them to move that. That's definitely state responsibility for that. And so,
Yeah, I agree.
have.
It's bad out at Boonesboro. It's bad out at Clays Ferry now.
Well, you know, I understand that that sometimes there's limits to the truckers and how far they can drive and their logs and all that. I get it. And sometimes the truck stops are full. I get it. But I'm just telling you, in some areas and on some ramps, they'd be better to park on the side of the interstate than they would be to park on some of those ramps with as much traffic, especially at the Buc-ee's, as the traffic that it gets over there. It's just dangerous as a loaded gun. That's all there is to it.
You know, when you travel, Tom, you look at some other states, and Kentucky's had a lot of extra money come out of Washington. Just build not a rest stop, but a truck stop. I've seen those all over the place where you'll see 25, 30 trucks parked in there, and there's no restroom facilities, there's nothing other than a place for them to park. And you would think our leadership and the road department would come up with some better ideas than allowing what you're talking about, because it's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not just at Buc-ee's, it's all over the place.
I agree.
Well, they're rest havens is what they're called. And they have them at scale houses sometimes. So here, it's from London all the way to Georgetown. It's there's nowhere to park. So if you run your right time, you hit your 10 hours.
Well, they took the rest area we had in Madison County away, right, when they put in the Duncannon exit, and they didn't replace it anywhere.
So if you hit your 10 hours driving time, you've got to pull over.
Understand. So outside of that, should anyone reach me, need me, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Appreciate your time. Brian?
The only thing I have is, I know we did some proclamations today to recognize some people that are doing a lot of great things in our community, and when we look over this crowd, we see some more people that are doing some great things in the community, our citizens. Thank those for being here today. And there's just a lot of good things that's going on in our county, and a lot of times we fail to look at the good. A lot of times we focus on the bad, and especially when we get calls and messages, it's always usually bad. But we do appreciate everybody in our community that supports the community and goes above and beyond. And other than that, Judge, I'm just glad to be here.
Glad you're here, brother.
Judge, I just had one other thing, and maybe you could comment on it, and you don't have to go into detail. I haven't heard anything lately about the exit beautification program, and I was just wondering, could you give us just a short snippet on that? Is it still in progress? Are the cities working with us?
It is, yeah. We've kind of really put that kind of on pause right now, not from a standpoint of not wanting to go further. We got a lot on our plate right now, and things all about timing. Have had some meetings with two mayors and kind of showed them the concept, and so really look forward to bringing it back up in the really near future.
Good, I just want to make sure it's still alive.
Pretty exciting. It is, very much so. Yeah, I think it'd be viable. Counselor, you have anything?
I don't have anything, Judge.
All right, thank you. Kenny?
Yep. Obviously, our push is working. We've got 170 signed up to work the primary right now. And hopefully, if anybody's out there listening, encourage those folks to come on to school and complete the process and help us work, because that's a huge, even though we say we need 140, that 140 might include somebody just wants to work Thursday on early voting and nothing else. So we would need 2 more people to fill in, or 1 more person to fill in those next 2 days. So 170 is a good, comfortable number for flexibility, and we always have at least, 10 or so that something happens and we can't work that day.
Yeah.
So it's, I encourage everybody to show on up to class and appreciate the folks that have signed up.
Yeah, that's good.
What was the date for your class, Kenny? Yeah, is that scheduled yet?
It's April 25th and 26th, I think.
I think so. It's in my rectangle.
Was that right? I didn't send that
Sounds
to you.
right.
It's a Thursday and Friday, isn't it?
Yep. 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
23rd, 24th, and 25th. Okay. Yep. And there's different times. If you go to sign up,
Yeah, you can pick
it'll let you pick your time you want to do it. Kenny said I'm 170th on the list. I'm a last resort.
Did you sign up?
I did. Yeah. I did sign up.
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah. He said nobody would get done there.
Yeah, there'll be just a.
Everybody be stopped talking to me. And I'll
We
be
want
talking
people
back.
to come and go, not stand and visit and talk for half an hour right in front of the door. People trying to get in and out.
Sheriff, you got anything?
Yes, sir. I just want to advise the court again. Of course, we've been busy as usual. We still not have received our new cruisers as yet, so this is going into another month. We're spending more money on our older cars and our high mileage cars. We've had several of those while we've been using them have gone down. So like I said, we're spending a lot of money trying to keep those up and going. Also, I want to bring to the attention to our drivers here in Madison County, pay attention to the driving. We've had several terrible accidents over the last few weeks. A lot of it's just driving inattentive, not paying attention, being on the phone. But we had a terrible accident this weekend. It involved 2 vehicles. A lady obviously had emergency medical issue. Cross lanes, hit a vehicle head on. That lady that was a passenger in that vehicle lost her unborn baby, as well as 2 kids that they had. I think both of those, the driver and the passenger, were teachers at Silver Creek. Had two of their children in the car with them. Both of those are students at Silver Creek. The lady that crossed the line had her two grandkids in. Both of those are students at Silver Creek. Medical emergencies, vary, but we just have to pay more attention to our driving skills. Like I said, we've had accidents on the interstate with Richmond, Berea agencies, as well as state police and our office, sheriff's office. We're just having too many accidents. Another thing I'd like to bring attention is on Friday, April the 5th, about 5-ish in the afternoon, we'd received information the day before and that day of an escaped prisoner from Franklin County. And we received information that he was in and around Madison County, 2 or 3 different locations. Our deputies attempted to find him, and about 5 that afternoon, they did find him on Berea Road, just outside of Richmond. He was an escapee, and like I said, he was apprehended. He was hiding in a closet with a bunch of clothes piled up on top of him. It went pretty well. He was rearrested on the escape warrants as well as resisting arrest, and I'm proud to say that he was captured and sent back to Franklin County. I also want to commend Wendy and her staff for such a professional job that they do. They're the first ones that gets the calls. They have to break those calls down and give it to air people, where it's police agencies, fire, EMS. They just do such a great job. And, everybody wants to get there in a safe manner and get back in a safe manner. And the information that they retrieve on those 911 calls, it's just a great job that they do out there. Very pleased and honored to be part of them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Everybody good? All right. Comments from department heads. We have any department heads today that need to address the court? Seeing none, what about audience? Any audience comments? Yes, ma'am. Come on up. Just state your name, please.
Judy Keith, trash lady from South Dogwood Drive. Judge Taylor, thank you so much for having the garbage picked up along Big Hill Avenue, Peggy Flats Road, and Flat Gap Road. Flat Gap Road needs it again. But if you would indulge me a moment, I'm an old educator, so I want to ask everybody in the room, since we talked about parenting this morning, that just breaks my heart when I hear about those children. I am going to volunteer. It's another thing I want to do. But I want to ask all of you, if you're parents, raise your hand. And everybody in here had a parent, right? So, growing up and in your own homes, did you have rules to live by? Raise your hand. And if you didn't abide by those rules, what happened? Did you face consequences?
Got my rear end busted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mommy was really good with a switch. You had to go get it first, okay? In our community, we have all these disrespectful, irresponsible people that just keep trashing our beautiful countryside. And when I drove to Virginia this couple of weeks ago, eastern Kentucky is not as bad as we are around here. When I drove through Garrett County to have lunch with friends, it is gross. I mean, the back roads are gross. So what I want to ask you to consider is, are we doing everything that we can do to let those people know there are rules? There is a law that says no littering, $500 fine. But how many of those signs are up there? I wanted to know if Mr. Shepard in the road department was going to get that grant again to have citizens pick up trash and earn money for their nonprofits. And if so, why not follow those citizens' work with a sign that says no littering, $500 fine? Now, I would make another suggestion. I'm full of those. If you don't want to fine them, you know, and we've had this conversation, Mr. Combs and I. How do you know who's doing it? Well, there are cameras that can capture their license plates. And then once they're captured, they can be cited. And if they can't afford that $500 fine, let them get their lazy butts out there and pick up trash 5 weekends in a row, 1 mile on both sides of the road for 5 weekends in a row. And I guarantee you there'll be a change in their behavior, just like we changed our behavior when our parents told us we had broken the rule and we were going to face the consequences. I'm just asking you to consider what can be done to make them aware of the rule after the trash is picked up, and what can be done to make them face the consequences. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Anyone else? All right. Any audience, or I mean, any Facebook comments? No? Okay. All right. Next is I need a motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers, please.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Lockmuller,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next meeting will be April the 23rd, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. It'll be back in Richmond at the Richmond City Commission Chambers. Our next meeting will be April 23rd, 2024 back at Richmond City Commission Chambers, 9:30 a.m. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Lockmuller,
Yes.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Judge